3, 2, 1. We're back. That's it. It's Bastard Radio. Tim, can you turn your thing sideways?
Are you going phone?
Yeah, Tim's out. Tim texted us today. He's like, "This is the last episode I'm doing."
Yeah, I mean, guys, the quarantine's over. It's like we're all going. I'm doing clubs next week. It's we're done. You know, it's like.
Did you go out to you went out to Palm Springs and you did that the weekend
I didn't do that, but we're all starting to move now, right? I mean, it's in LA. We are.
Are you guys? I thought LA was closed until July.
LA is, but we're all going to just start doing Arizona and Texas.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing Arizona next month. It's been a nice ride. The Bastards, Yeah.
I mean, we'll do in New York. I mean, listen, I'm going to come to New York in July, right? I mean, like, isn't everything opening up, or am I nuts?
No, not here. There's. I mean, the New York State plan is it's all in phases, and then the regions are phased. So
yeah, in New York City. It's also the very last region for anything to
New York City won't hit phase 1 until mid-June, and then comedy clubs per the phases won't open up until phase 4, which is the last phase. And so you're talking about, like, if you want to perform at a comedy club in New York City, don't plan on it happening prior to
2024.
At the very, very fucking earliest, probably like third week in July.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if comedy clubs were admitting people the third week of July. It's also a different thing. Like, you go to fucking Idaho or Texas or wherever the fuck you're going, these places pay pennies on the dollar of rent. Like New York City, in order for them to turn their fucking lights on, they need to have 100 people. That's like a minimum at a club in New York City. It's crazy.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see it all happen. But yeah, the road's opening back up. People are fucking, they don't give a shit, dude. People are protesting. They're rioting right now.
Yeah,
what a beautiful time, right, dude? The fact that all it took was race riots to bring everybody together.
That might not have to do with opening beaches. That's sort of
beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, just watching everybody come together to riot in Minneapolis and just fucking say "fuck it, dude." We're past this.
They want to go back to work. That's why they're rioting in Minneapolis. They want to go back to work.
I know.
Yeah, that's why they went to that Target. They all worked at that Target. They wanted to.
White kids that are fucking shamelessly looting. It's hilarious. I want to loot. I want to go to Minneapolis. Can we do gigs in Minneapolis just so we can go loot?
Yeah, I will.
Are you where are you performing, Tim? You got a gig officially?
I'm trying to put stuff together in Arizona right now, and I may go out with Shao McCallan. They're doing something in Arizona. And then Texas, wherever is fucking opening. Maybe Florida. Maybe go down to Florida. I think Bobby Kelly's doing Florida this weekend.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're losing your mind right now? Because I feel like it's the last day of school where it's like you're just looking at the clock.
The Zoom shit. I mean, all these Zoom podcasts and everything. It's just getting to a point where it's like I feel like I'm living in this fucking. I just want to go live in the world.
Yeah, Zoom is also, it still doesn't work.
Right.
Every time I do it, I mean, it's like half the time I have to keep hitting this turn off original sound button. I forget whose show I did Kurt Metzger's show, and Bobby was telling me, he was like, we talked to Zoom and they said that it's your computer's fault. And it's like, I don't want to hear this shit. No.
Yeah, it's not. It's clearly not.
It's not my computer. It's your fucking shitty app. It doesn't work. So I don't, you can go, they can tell you that. Don't tell me that they told you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, if this continues, it's just going to continue to be fucking problems. It's not ideal. It sucks.
Well, the problem is they're banking all this technology on, like, the world ending and us needing to continue. Everyone's dying to get off this shit.
Correct.
Everyone is dying to not, like, I don't want my son to fucking learn. I'm watching my son learn in front of a fucking iPad. And
the guys at Zoom, right, like as soon as the quarantine hit, are all basically like a woke comedian the second they got a writing job on like a variety comedy show. They're like, oh yeah, I made it. I finally made it.
We did it.
This is going to last forever. Everyone's going to want gay scold comedy forever.
Forever, yeah. No,
there's the level of evil
moralism.
I'm
in
buying
all of these fucking companies, Zoom, the streaming companies, the face mask companies. There's like a level of evil there where you're like, I don't give a shit what's happening. Like, you guys are thriving during all of this. And I'm not even saying like good for them. It's almost like striking gold. Like I don't think they started Zoom knowing that there was going to be a fucking pandemic.
Well, how sad is it going to be when like the Zoom comedy shows start to, and like people are, there's going to have to be a time when like someone's going to want to get booked on a Zoom comedy show. And like the curator of that is going to have to tell them like, hey, we just shut down last week.
Yeah.
We're sorry. We know you really enjoyed this time we had, but we're going to go back out to the real clubs now.
Do you know that there are people...
I feel like people are going to go back out after this, audiences, and realize that comedy sucks.
I agree with you.
They've had a break from this type of entertainment that sucked. That objectively was just not worth it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go back out and be like, oh, this sucks. Why were we fucking doing this? It's like it's going to be the same thing as people cutting their own hair. How many people figured out in the last week that like, oh, you can just do this. You can just cut your own hair.
I just realized my hair grows to a certain point, then it just stops growing. I don't ever really have to get a haircut.
I get the same thing. It's like kind of like Irish pompadour thing where it's like we'll do fucking like a year and a half of growth in 2 months, and then it stops.
And that's it.
And then you just look like that.
Yeah, and it's fine.
Until you're 65 years old, and then it's mostly translucent.
And that's fine. I'm not a model. This is fine.
But I don't know. The thing is, comedy clubs, like, it is concentrated comedy, right?
I shaved the sides, but it's the...
Yeah. It kind of stops exactly where it needs to stop. It's perfect.
Right there. I haven't had a haircut since fucking January.
Irish guys need something to like do. They got to go like this because they're always like mad and angry and their lives suck. So they gotta go like that.
In the natural habitat, this would be pasted under your face with whiskey.
Nick, by the way, you look just hotter when you do that with your hair right there. You turn into a fucking
just checking your pocket watch in a pub somewhere.
Whiskey in the blood of your wife, just matting your hair to your face.
Yeah, comedy clubs, you're not going to be able to. And look, podcasts are fucking great. Movies are great, but with the comedy clubs going missing for a minute, you do realize, dude, there's nothing like that, right? You go see a comic for an hour, just sit there. It's fucking, you just laugh your dick off.
There's so many things like that.
There's nothing like that. There's nothing like it. Hold on. There's 5 fucking podcasts, Nick, that are that funny. You're on 2 of them. What are we talking about? It's not if you listen to all those fucking podcasts that are out there.
How many people doing hours should be doing hours?
No, hold on. Let's get real. Most people that are doing an hour, let me say this. Most people that are doing an hour are fucking killing for an hour. Even comics that suck can go up and kill for an hour. The people that are sitting in that audience, most of the time, 99% of the time, I'd say on the road, they walk out going like, yeah, it was worth the $25. That was a great night out. I had fun with my friends. I laughed. I can't sit here and go like, oh, fucking stand-up comedy sucks. I was sort of feeling that way for a minute, but now that it's sort of been gone.
Not all of it, but a lot of it does.
You know, I would think that I'm like tainted. I guess we lost him. I would think,
sorry.
I would
That's
think
the other thing with Zoom. I got a call when you get a call. I guess I should do it on my Mac. But when you get a call, it's like, fuck, see? You get a call and then you're like, but now I'm back. Chris
Gethard's calling you.
Yeah, fuck him.
What? Oh, can we talk about that for a minute? What happened with Chris Gethard?
Well, you know what it is, man? It's just, I'm going to talk about it on my show too, but like, it's just like, there's just a group of comics in New York that aren't funny. Yeah. And they just hate people that are fun. It's like, I'm sorry you're not funny. What do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's not even Chris Gethard. It's one of his like unpaid interns. Chris Gethard died 3 weeks ago trying to put on a shirt by himself.
Right. He just wrote this whole big thing on Reddit about how like he used to be friends with me and he used to think I was funny, and then Trump won and he realized I was Hitler. It's like, what? Okay.
Why did he write that on Reddit? He did an AMA?
Because we did an election night show with him, me and Ray Kump. And he didn't release it. And then he had to explain to his audience why he didn't release it. And he was like, we thought Hillary was going to win and Tim was going to be funny, but Trump won. And I told a bunch of rich white people to relax about it. And they proceeded to throw themselves on the floor and cry. There was a guy sitting next to me dressed like a banana crying. And I said to him,
Tim, you're pissing off the banana.
Right.
Banana's having depression.
Right. So... you know, so then he had to write this whole thing on Reddit recently about why he didn't release it. And he's like, I would have released it if it was just another party that won that I didn't. I'm like, that's what happened though. Yeah. Another party won. Like,
so here's what happened. He was going to release it because he was excited because he thought Hillary was going to win. Then when she didn't win, he was just bummed out, and he was like, well, I don't want to be on recording being a fucking pussy. He didn't want to release it for that reason.
We shouldn't have announced that this is the last Bastard Radio. It should have just been the last one, and then me and Lewis could have publicly said that you said some really fucked up things about George Floyd. You were like, that George Floyd should have had a thicker neck.
We can edit around all that.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we can edit all around that. And you know what we should bring in Chris Gethard next week and say nothing.
We should bring, but that's the thing with Chris Gethard. It's like,
do you even want to edit that out? I mean, he's the one that's saying all this shit publicly. That's the thing. This is what I don't like, is that woke people have this past to just throw people under the fucking bus, and then it's you're supposed to have the fucking decorum to not respond to it.
Well, it's reverse bullying.
If you think I'm a bad guy, then I'll be a bad guy. You're a bitch.
Yeah, it's like you write. Yeah, go on, Lewis.
They go and they talk shit, and then they say shit about you publicly. They tweet at you. They say your name, and then you go and say something back, and you're like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh my God, they're attacking me. Their fans are attacking me.
They're harassing me, and they brought my friend the banana into it for no reason. The depression banana who suffers.
By the way, I love Chris Gethard. Here's why I've always liked him, because I like con artists. To me, it is hilarious to like claim you're helping comedians and then have them dress up like bananas and sit behind you. While you make millions of dollars, they make nothing in a banana suit. That to me is like, I am all for that. Keep doing that, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always liked, he's always been a cool enough guy. He did Skankfest a couple times. And that was the problem, is a lot of these woke comics is they want to have one foot in.
If you ask him about that now, though, if you went to Chris and went, hey, remember you did Skankfest? He'll say something like, yes, but that's before I realized how dark they were and how dangerous it was. Like, it's fake. It's all a lie, you know?
I mean, by the way, I was way more dangerous back then before I had things to lose. What is he talking about? Like, I was actually a criminal back then.
Yeah.
I love how everyone does their own retconning. For Chris, it's that he knew and he was making a decision or whatever, and in Lewis's mind, he was an international art thief at the time.
Yeah.
He was.
Lewis, I had nothing to lose.
Yeah, at the time, I was Scarface. I feel like my levels are fucked up here.
You sound pretty good. It also, they record the thing that's good about Zoom is they record each track individually, so we could EQ it later.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Zoom, man. I hope some of these comedy clubs in New York find a way to make it through.
Do you know people are charging to sit in on Zoom meetings? That's a thing that we can do.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty, right?
It's really shitty, dude. It's fun. I mean, like I got asked to do a comedy show. Marco from Eastville asked me to do a live stand-up comedy show where I did jokes to an audience. I wouldn't even do that if it was I wouldn't stream a stand-up comedy show in a club with 200 people in the crowd.
Are people watching those? Is there a single successful Instagram comedy show? Because there's a lot of them and they haven't stopped yet, and it's been 2 months, and it's like,
good question.
Is there a single one where there's like fucking even 100 people watching one?
Dude, I think it's other comics. If there's anyone, it's like other loser comics.
Yeah, and then they all just keep sending the laugh emoji.
Right. Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny.
To jokes that they've heard in person a million times.
Yeah. It's crazy to me, and like I just think that it's overall been bad for comedy to do that.
Dude,
I refuse to do it. I said no because I'm like, number one, I think it's not showing. My comedy's not great with an audience there, so I'm not going to sit here and fucking try to make nobody laugh. But think about how bad the jokes are going to sound with no laugh track there.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna sound like a bad open mic where every joke ends with like, so that's a thing.
So that happened.
Right. There's energy to it. It's just fucking.
Yeah, can't do it. But I mean, I saw they were doing comedy shows in a parking lot somewhere. Somebody took my idea where you guys trashed me for it. So I probably spent a good 20 minutes trashing me for the drive-through comedy club idea that I had. It's exploding all over the place. No. Bert fucking Kreischer's talking about doing it. I saw some other people doing it in the back of a pickup truck. And here you guys are. No, I'm sure it was great. I'm sure it was better than fucking Zoom comedy shows.
Here's the thing. This whole idea that this is all better than nothing is not true.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not true that it's better than nothing to stand up in the back of a pickup truck in a diner parking lot and scream at a Chevy Nova. That is not better than not doing anything.
Right. And it's also doing nothing isn't the alternative. It's finding something else to do with your life to derive meaning out of.
Right.
You know,
I think what's going to happen is
it's so you're not doing nothing. You're being a father. You know what I mean? You have other things that you could be doing instead of screaming at people from the bed of a fucking pickup.
Yeah, but I'm not being paid to be a father. I'm at being a father, I'm spending money. I'm fucking bleeding cash on this kid. We've got to figure out a way to get the cash coming back in.
You gotta put him to work, man.
You gotta get him out there.
Yeah.
Gotta get him to work, dude. You gotta send him on auditions. You know, this kid's gotta start working.
He wants to stream. He sees me streaming on Twitch. This is all he wants to do because he watches Twitch streamers.
Interesting. What Twitch streamers does he watch?
He watches this guy named Brian Saviano, who's not even a known Twitch streamer. Yeah. He's like, he has no views. This guy's got no fucking views, no Instagram following, no Twitter following. But whatever it is, he worked out a deal with Amazon. So they play his Twitch streams, like these squeaky clean, family-friendly Twitch streams on Amazon. So it's like an Amazon show that he just plays these old school video games. And nobody gives a fuck except for my son. And I've challenged this guy to a game of Fortnite 1v1, and he's accepted. So I'm gonna make my kids sit down and watch me beat him in Fortnite.
What if he beats you?
I told him I'd give him my son.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're putting James on the line.
Yeah. Hong Kong rules. I love it.
Yeah.
Hong Kong rules. Old China rules.
Yeah.
I mean, kids are growing up. It's not even like back in the day where it's like they're watching actors and baseball players and professional wrestlers, and that's what they want to do. Now it's like it's been whittled down to TikTok dancers and fucking video game streamers.
Yeah,
so it's like the dreams
miming. Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. Like the dream, like, but when we like the whole Generation Me thing where it's like, oh yeah, everyone just wants to be a fucking rock star. It's like, goddamn, a rock star is so much more respectable than a TikTok star.
Well, what's even funnier too with the streaming is like you don't even have to be good at the game.
Right.
You don't have to be like one of the best guys in the world. I think it's like, I mean, I don't know anything about it. I've never watched a Twitch stream in my life, but from what I understand, it's not like that PewDiePie guy is like the best at video games.
No, I think you gotta be pretty good though.
He's pretty good, probably, right? I would imagine he's pretty good.
You gotta be good or you gotta be a fucking smoking hot chick.
I don't know. I think he's just, I mean, probably better than most people, but it's like, aren't there ranking? The people aren't like, let's look it up. Let somebody look it up.
Go look at PewDiePie's ranking.
Go look up the ranking of PewDiePie.
I don't even know.
Can you imagine being a hot chick and not being able to at least figure that out?
You can just get on camera and
you don't gotta even play with your pussy or do anything crazy. You can.
What do you think about Call Her Daddy, Lewis? I wanted to know what you think about the Call Her Daddy drama because you're in the podcast world. And it's big drama. You know what happened?
I've heard of Call Her Daddy, and they broke up, right? They got into a fight.
Yeah. No. Barstool had them. They were making. I don't know. They signed a contract with Barstool. They didn't like it. The show blew up. Barstool's like, listen, you blew up with our marketing. Blah 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 blah. They were making
100% true, by the way.
Yeah, no, of course.
100% true. These bitches would not be anything without the fact that Barstool were behind them.
From the very beginning, who?
Call Her Daddy. It's like the biggest podcast in America other than Rogan.
I don't know it. I've literally.
I know. No, you're a person. You shouldn't. But like, these two.
I've never heard of this.
These two girls. They were making like $500,000 each, but their podcast is like a massive. And one girl's boyfriend, who's an HBO guy, like got in her head. He's like, "You're getting ripped off. They're ripping you off." So she went to the other girl. She's like, let's get out of Barstool. Let's leave. And one girl didn't want to go. And so now they're just fucking, they're split up. And the girl that wanted more money now has nothing because the show's over. They're looking for a new girl to replace her. Barstool's argument was like, listen, we built you. You signed a contract. It is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Barstool. Am I crazy?
No, you're right. You're probably right.
I don't know who these bitches are, but I'm assuming, no offense to them, I'm assuming that they're fucking whatever. All of these podcasts, there's like a handful of good podcasts, but most of them are garbage. Most of these people, they have nothing to talk about. They have no opinion, no perspective. And I think that there's a whole thing in LA, in that whole world of, I'm not even just saying LA, but these big podcasts that aren't good, where you're listening to it, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? They're not even having a conversation. How is anybody listening to this and liking this? I think it's all marketing. I think they pay for PR companies. I think they pay for clicks. I think it's all fucking click farm shit. Whatever it is, it doesn't make sense. Right?
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. Barstool Sports is a massive fucking brand.
Yeah.
You know, I think they, you know, if they fucking gave them a contract, they're making $500,000 each. That's that. Let the contract expire and then go elsewhere.
The guy that owns Barstool looks like Shelbyville Mark Zuckerberg.
He does. He does. El Presidente. He does look like that.
The nerd version, and then that's like the regular guy.
Yeah.
But then they both made websites. I think that's one of those like we're living in a simulation things where it's like the formula kind of ran out of. It's like you got like a hash collision there where there's only so many inputs you can have, and then it creates website, kind of Jewish nerd guy. This is what they look like. You know? You got Zuckerberg and that guy at the same time.
Yeah, but he's also like the jock version of that. There's a Jewish, there's a cool,
there's a kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like there's a cool Jew. Like he listened to Dave Matthews Band, he got pussy. Like Zuckerberg wasn't getting pussy.
You remember in the Shelbyville episode, there's Millhouse, and then there's the Shelbyville version of Millhouse that's cooler than Millhouse, but they bond both being named Millhouse.
I got it.
Right.
Yeah.
What did Trump do today? Now you can complain if they get rid of you or something on social media.
There's he's like some executive order where it makes it okay to. I hope he just fucking like deletes Twitter. How funny would that be?
Hilarious.
Because it's what Twitter. All Twitter is like a world where tattletales it's their playground. It's a tattletale's. It's a snitch's dream is to be on Twitter.
It's a snitch's dream. It's a very good point.
It's the most punitive of the social media platforms. It's the most detrimental to social cohesion. It's done nothing.
The word count is like whatever the character limit is. It's just enough that it's saying just enough that somebody would want to hit you.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's literally. It's just enough that somebody would want to fucking hit you.
If they shortened it to 275, everything would be okay. But 280 is the number where it's like, okay, that's where problems.
It's okay. You were getting fucking smacked.
It used to be like fucking 110 or something, or 140 characters. It was 140.
140.
And that you had to write like you were a fucking like a 7th grade girl. Like it was all like, you know, you had to write numbers.
Didn't because words. They didn't have threading. Twitter didn't. Well, like Twitter used to be good because there was 140 characters and there was no threading. So like the only thing you could use it for successfully was jokes. So that's until
I like you could put a video on it and people could retweet it quickly.
It was also a timeline, right? So it was like you would look at your Twitter feed and it was a timeline of what people were saying. There was no algorithmic bullshit. There was no like they're putting certain stuff ahead of other things. There was no promoted tweets. It all became a thing where it's like, I don't even know, like, is this what I want to see, or is this what they want me to see, or is this what they think they want me to see? I should be able to click a button and just say, hey, these are all my friends, and it's what they're tweeting in order, in time. Why is that an issue?
Yeah, well, you know, they want to curate things. They want to sell you shit. I like it because it's the least censored. I mean, I don't like it, but it's the least censored of any one. Like, you could put the most shit on Twitter and get away with it.
Yeah, in terms of like nudity and shit, but if you
in terms of like,
if somebody reports you for saying anything, you can't call something gay. If somebody you can, but if 3 people report you for it, they're going to remove your tweet, and if you get a few of those, you're going to get fucking suspended.
Is that true? I don't know, because I put out wild videos and they don't. On Instagram, I've been taken down. I've never been taken down on Twitter.
Yeah,
didn't that guy come out today and
on every fucking platform?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick's constantly suspended from social media platforms. And I also like how Nick will decide for 2 years at a time that he's like, you know what, I'm done with Twitter, fuck him. And then 2 years later, he just comes back one day.
I haven't. I got permanently fucking banned. I took 2 years off for a very long time, and then I forgot what happened. You
didn't even do anything bad this time, right? What did you even do? It was like a retarded woman who got upset at you. She said you were being an ableist.
I forget. I said I said in January. I said I hope everyone in America gets coronavirus and dies.
Yeah. And then you sent me the photo of the woman that reported you. She like has no skin on her face.
Yeah,
It's like
right.
she was like a paraplegic with no face. I'm like, what is happening?
Those women always have names like Belando.
Dude, you had the best name ever of a social justice warrior. I don't know if you remember saying it. You were like, my name is Dawn Beth Custard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just like a fat woman struck dumb by a thunderclap.
Dawn Beth is my favorite fat woman name. I don't know if anyone's actually named Dawn Beth in the world, but just imagining a woman named Dawn Beth beginning to complain about something.
She's angry. If there's a Dawn Beth out there, she's angry.
She's furious. The only thing she's excited about is medieval history. And the events that you can. She's never made an organic friend in her life. They've only through meetup groups or some sort of technological intervention.
Yeah,
the one doesn't understand organic social chemistry.
Right. She longs for a time when she would be respected.
Right.
It's at the Middle Ages. She thinks would have been her time.
Right, because of her broad back, she could carry extra mead on her.
Yeah.
From the open fields.
Yeah, when handsome women were respected.
Right.
What about you could do like an alt-right social media platform, Nick, like Gab?
I don't know. I just don't care. I mean, like
I don't care enough either. There's not enough people on those sites for it to matter.
Well, that's the problem with it. As soon as they include.
In 2011, I didn't have Facebook. I didn't have Twitter. I didn't have I mean, I had a Twitter, but I didn't really use Twitter. I made one in 2009, and then I was off Facebook at the time. And I didn't have even text messaging. Like if somebody I had a Google Voice number just in case somebody had to text me, but everything I did just you had to call me for anything. You know, it's like, and then that continued until like 2014 or 15. I would have Twitter, but I would use it from like a desktop computer. But I was not like fucking on social media. I thought social media was stupid. I was always on the internet, but like IRC or like older versions of the internet, which was a much different thing. There was no tattling to be done.
It was just a website to go look at.
No, I mean like, you know, in chat rooms and forums and shit. But anyway,
you're doing forums?
Yeah,
okay.
But the point is that I didn't want I started tweeting more because I was like told you had to if you wanted to have a fucking career. Like when I was like meeting with fucking agents and managers.
Well, you started getting a major following on Twitter. I remember back in the day, like before anybody in New York was getting like a following, way before Come Town, Legion of Skanks, you were like crushing it on Twitter. I remember you had like 30,000 Twitter followers, 25. That was a lot back then for like a young
comic. That was already late in the game, dude. I got on Twitter in 2009, but I started tweeting in like 2011, 2012, really. And then I didn't move to New York until 2014. And so, like, you know, there was just years where, I mean, why I had a following on Twitter, which was, compared to the amount of tweets that I had, was not that big.
I think you had a bunch of really funny tweets that famous people retweeted.
Well, there was a bit of that, but mostly it was because I just used Twitter as a chat room. That's when Twitter got fun, is like 2012, when I just used it like, okay, well, I'm going to make friends on here. And
you
then
could just say stupid shit, and you were like, I'm not going to get suspended, or nobody's going to ruin my career because I'm saying silly things to my friends.
How I know all those Chapo guys is because we became friends on Twitter, and then friends in real life. But it was just like, yeah, let's just fucking use this website. And then it was more that like sort of communities were elevated rather than individual people after like 2012, and like, you know, that like rode that wave up, because there was an older iteration of Twitter. Like if you want to break it down into like generations, from like 2010 to maybe 2012, where it was just like individual joke writers that would blow up and then they would be absorbed into the industry. Like,
well, that was almost the only way to blow up on Twitter back then, was to write funny stuff, and then more famous people will retweet you, and then you get followers through that. There was almost no other way to do it.
There's all that fave star bullshit. Rob Delaney or Megan Amram like come to mind. People that kind of blew up in that.
Michelle Wolf, I would say I watched Michelle Wolf blow up through Twitter. That was like her main way of getting. I mean, she could stand up to everything, all that other shit, but Twitter's what got her a job at Seth Meyers. Like, it was getting people jobs.
Yeah,
well, that's what sort of TikTok is doing now for people.
Honestly,
TikTok's just getting hot, young, dumb women jobs.
More for me than anything is moving to New York. I mean, it's like, it wasn't. You can't say none of this shit would have happened if I wasn't in New York. and network
Right.
people in New York. I mean,
I don't
I
know
know
where-
you guys.
Where did I
Right.
meet you, Dick? Do you remember where we met?
Here. We met here.
But I'm saying, like, where? Like, I don't remember, like, what was it?
I don't remember
stand-up show?
I don't remember meeting either one of you. It's so
I remember
wild.
meeting you,
I
Tim.
don't. I think me and you did Cabin or something together at one point, and I think
Me
maybe
and you?
yeah. And so
Yeah, I was
on,
about to
put
say,
me on the
Lewis
show.
never did Cabin.
Yeah,
I
Lewis,
did
where did
Cabin.
we meet?
The first night I met Rebecca Trent, I fucking hated her. I was hammered. I just stopped smoking weed, and I was talking to Nate Bargatze outside, and she was just so cocky. She said something, and she's like, "Who are you?" And I went, "Who the fuck are you?" And then I called her a fat bitch or something. It was crazy. And then we just didn't like each other or speak for like 2 years.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I met Tim on YKWd.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. There was
Met
that
you on
night.
Bobby's podcast.
We had kind of known each other, but then me and you had one night where we hung out and did blow in the bathroom at the old stand.
Oh, me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even speak. We just did blow and stared at the wall.
Yeah, we just kind of like took turns going back and forth doing blow, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I guess we're friends.
I guess we're friends now.
I guess we're friends."
That's where the stand should have staged. It's a place for people to do
Yes.
blow and make friends.
Dog,
Yeah.
if the stand was the old stand, it wouldn't even
Yeah.
matter. They could afford this whole thing. It wouldn't be a big
Yeah,
deal.
dude, it would have been great. They would have still had shows probably. No one would have cared.
The only guys I kind of really knew before moving to New York were Metzger and Soder and Mike Lawrence and Ari. And then they
Yeah.
kind of helped me out a bit. Ari less so, because Ari I kind of started hanging out with at Moon Tower when I first moved to New York. But like Kurt I knew and Soder I knew. And other than that,
You know what's funny? When those guys go and become writers like Mike Lawrence and them, they kind of disappear. Like I haven't seen him in like
I was
years.
close with Lawrence. I considered Lawrence a close friend for a while.
That-
I
was
like
him.
Lawrence, but
that was
he
more
just-
of a function of him like grinding. You know, I mean, that guy was doing open
grinded.
needlessly doing open
Yeah.
mics. You know, for like after already having success, going out every night and
Yeah.
doing like 15 spots, and then it's like, you know, he's married and he wants to just move to LA and have a job and
Yeah.
not be a fucking 20-year-old, you know, on the train till 3 a.m. every morning.
It's so
Right,
funny because
yeah.
you hear stories about Mike Lawrence sitting in the back of comedy clubs with Dan St. Germain and bullying open mic comedians. Like in
Yeah.
this bizarro world, like Dan St. Germain and Mike Lawrence can bully people.
Yeah.
Well, they were having success. I mean, they were like some of the only people back then that were popping off, right? Because everything was going to like Beards and New Balance sneakers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're
That was-
both funny guys, but they were like, I guess they were the people that I guess. And I mean, now they're, I mean, let's be honest, and I like them both, but like that type of comedy is kind of irrelevant now.
That was the last year of white guys where they just
Yeah.
they fucking went too far with the kind of white guys they sold to people, and then
Yes,
They thought they were.
yes.
They shifted a little bit. They're like, no, we're not white guys. We got beards.
and then Indian people were like, "What the hell is this?" I mean, it was already bad, but now we have to do it too.
It is
No,
no
we have-
good now.
If this is going to be this shit, then we are
Yeah.
also going to make shit.
Yeah,
You
right.
are-
That's a great point.
I will not fucking just work at 7-Eleven my whole life
Right.
to come home and turn on TV and it is this fucking asshole
Yeah,
talking about how he drink beer.
yeah,
He
right.
gets up, he said, "I drink beer, I'm fat.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
so fat from drinking beer." That is not fucking comedy.
yeah.
That's not even a joke.
It's not, I can look at you and I know you're a piece of shit. I don't need to hear you tell Conan O'Brien that you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
What's the punchline?
Dude,
Yeah.
Conan O'Brien was responsible for that type of comedy solely for
Yeah.
2 years.
Well,
2
yeah, it
years
was just
straight.
like, and that was every act. Everybody would go on Conan, and then they'd be like, "Oh well, I'm a mess," you know. And it's like, great.
Well, it's really it's so funny. It's because like you want to say people are influential in comedy, which is like, you know, true, and it's a credit to their ability and their uniqueness and their identity as a comedian. But the more apt word is fault rather than influence, and I would say it's Kyle Kinane's fault that so many people like were doing that. It's also Louis C.K.'s fault that there were so many comedians that just fucking like pantomimed his mannerisms without
Right.
understanding any of the joke writing or like the
Yeah.
process that went into that. Because you could really fucking skate by for a couple of years from like 2010 to 13 maybe. You know, it was like, yeah, just like, yeah, guess we'll have a beer.
Yeah.
just all that.
Yeah,
shit.
there was like people had entire acts about Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
And just like everything was a bucket for like a reference. It had proven that they went to a liberal arts college in Maine.
Yeah.
And it was like, and the weird thing is like they were they grew that beard to hide their white guilt, and they hid behind it, and they just were trying to be like under the radar. And then something happened recently where it's like it's on. White guys, I mean, God bless you guys, Tim. God, it's a really it speaks to how talented you are, because being a fucking white guy in today's society and trying to fucking come up, it is a tough sell.
Well, ironically, it's like there's still room for the bad guys, because there were so many people that tried to like angle the safe white guy, market or whatever, that if you just if you continued to be a bad guy, there were no bad guys left.
Yep.
And eventually people will come back to like what is funny.
But the
it just might take a while. Yeah.
The entertainment industry never had any fucking soul or heart or morality.
Nothing. None of it.
So
and the people that pretended to were obviously pretending to. So that's what fucking sucks.
But if you just continued to be a piece of shit, and
who's going to come back around?
When they start staffing everything, they're like, we're doing all black women on this one, and let's get one piece of shit
one piece of garbage.
They're never, the one white guy that makes it into the writer's room is never going to be the one that's like, you guys are right about everything. Let's center your experiences. It's
and the alternative scene when we started was like, you want to talk about racism? I mean, it was all white lineups and all white audiences in like Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You go do a show in like Flatbush,
it's still
Brooklyn.
What it is. It's still what comedy scenes are in Brooklyn. When you go to a comedy show in Brooklyn now, it's still a bunch of white people performing to a bunch of white people talking about how evil white people are. It's fucking sickening.
Mullen had the best joke about that. He goes, the comedy lineups, it'll be like Abube Famubale, Shinzo Yurito, and then Jessica Cohen. Like it was always like, and then just one Jewish girl at the end. It was and Sarah Golden Schwartz.
But the thing is, you used to make a good point, Nick, because it's like, if you're just a piece of shit, just be a piece of shit. That's why I lead you to Skanks. We don't really get in much trouble because we've never pretended to be anything but the pieces of shit that we are. But as soon as you pretend to be a good person, then they can say, look, everyone has some shit. Look at Jimmy Fallon.
Well, we don't get in a lot of trouble. They've had national like scandals. Like it's like press. You've had national, but we don't get in a lot of trouble. I know it doesn't affect you.
As soon as we get a fucking article written about us, people start to do a little bit of research, just a second, and they go, oh yeah, these guys are they're dirty comedians. That's what they do. They're not pretending to be woke assholes who are trying to help society. Jimmy Fallon, this whole thing is fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah.
That they're trying. I mean, are they even trying to cancel Jimmy Fallon? I almost feel like half these aren't even real. Like it was the Robert Downey Jr. one.
Dude, what was amazing is Jimmy Fallon goes, thank you for holding me accountable. That's the grossest thing.
Yeah.
Thank you for holding me accountable. As he sits in his desk and blows another line of coke up his nose. Thank you for holding me accountable. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, it's fucking sickening because it's like, that's what people don't like, is like a lack of integrity more than anything. It's not the racism that pisses people off. It's like the apology is so much worse than doing the fucking thing.
So much worse.
I mean, what you should say is like, yeah, I mean, literally, I thought it was funny at the time, and if I were to apologize now after extracting all this success from it, it would only be to fucking sell out anybody who's done something similar that didn't grab the golden ring. So I should shut up. I should.
Why can't somebody just say that? Like, what an intelligent response. That's the only response, right? And if somebody would just say that once.
Justin Trudeau
stop.
Justin Trudeau straight up did that. He was like, look, I used to love costumes. I don't know what to fucking tell you. I love costumes. It's like, I understand it's wrong now. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but it's like, I didn't know. So that's that.
It's just also like with the whole Jimmy Fallon thing. It's like, I don't know, he's putting on a costume to portray Chris Rock. Also, his friend, a person who I don't think he was on SNL at the time, but an SNL alum, like, who probably thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just, it's very funny. It's like nobody cares on the fucking, quote unquote right. Nobody cares in the middle. No moderates care. I don't even think anyone really on the left cares.
It's like 20 people on Twitter. No one even cares on the left. Yeah.
It's probably 50 people. He's got millions of people that watch his show, millions of people who adore him, and then 50 people on Twitter that don't even give a shit, that literally just want to be a part of a hashtag. will make him bend the knee and apologize.
Yeah,
This is the
problem with social media.
Celebrities
millionaires and celebrities should be fucking better than these fucking people, but they're not. They bend the knee to them, and it's fucking sad.
There's a pandemic happening, and Minneapolis is fucking on fire right now. So anybody that even is like beginning to give a shit about Jimmy Fallon doing blackface is like
crazy.
They're not only crazy, but they're probably just like a very comfortable liberal piece of shit that has
cynical.
That is They're literally the fucking like limousine gated community liberals that fucking
They're like, oh my god,
think all liberals are, which is not
really
necessarily
young people. You understand? We the problem is with Twitter, right? It's a fucking face, and the person says what they say. And I think we look at ourselves and we go like, oh, there's a person like me talking to me this way. When you realize it's a 17-year-old kid, like all those people like Dina Hashem, to this day, she still gets little clown emojis. It's so funny to me that this rapper who I've never heard of, nobody's talked about before, after, or since. What's the guy's name?
XXXTentacion.
Yeah, this guy, right? It was such a fucking, if you go on her Instagram right now, if she posts a picture, there's probably 50 fucking kids that are posting clown emojis.
Yeah.
To this day. And it's like, I don't even know why that bothers me, but it does. If somebody posts a clown emoji, I'm going like, yeah, fuck you, dude.
That's such a
I don't know what it is.
It's such a funny thing because I would never even think that people would give a shit.
I would think they like me.
Yeah.
At first I was like, oh, they like my comedy. Like the clown emoji.
Yeah.
But again, here's the thing. She didn't deserve this at all. I don't know her at all. I think she's a really strong joke writer. Part of the benefit that three of us have is like, we've never pretended to be good. We've never pretended comedy was a vehicle for anything other than like goofing off. So if you get mad at us, you're an idiot.
Like in the best case scenario, in the worst case scenario, fucking expelling some fucked up shit and getting through some evil shit in our fucking heads.
I put a wig on and I have chest hair. If I say something that offends you, it's your fault.
It's also like comedy is kind of dependent on finding things that may potentially be offensive. And Correct. It's like, that's what makes comedy work. And you could say like, well, what about like nice comedy? That shit sucks. And it's like I'm in a conversation with my friend of mine. So that Amy Cooper thing happened, right?
Who's that? Oh yeah, the woman. Yeah.
Fucking woman that called the cops on this guy.
And the black guy. Yeah.
There's no black guy threatening me or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it came up on the show, and I'm like talk about how like, okay, well that guy's also just a tattletale loser, and it's funny.
Yes.
It's funny that like all these tattletales are just at each other's throats.
Yes.
Like a friend of mine was like, well, I mean, like the rate, I'm like, he's my friend, so we'll like talk about it or whatever, about like what the issue is. But it's like it's hard for me not to be like, I don't actually give a shit. I mean, it's like if I was just having a conversation about this off mic, I'm not going to be like, actually, that guy, he did something, because I don't fucking care. I'm not looking for an angle, and we're not like public affairs commentators. It's like you're like, if you're trying to find something funny, you got to find a different angle.
Why does that guy care for dogs off a leash? I guess it's just that he doesn't want to get
that's that is the point that I'm gonna make. It's like people are like, oh, well, your dog was eating rare birds, and it's like, I don't buy that. I'm sorry.
We don't, and also, who cares? Like, imagine walking around Central Park going, are the rare birds being eaten, and who's doing it? And let's find that out.
Also, what type of black guy knows which birds are rare and which birds are not rare?
He's gay. Let's say that. He is gay.
That's not a real black guy, okay? This is not.
He's the king of Twitter. Trans is number one. Black and trans is number one. Black and gay is number two.
Yeah, that chick, Amy Cooper, like, here's the thing, right? So, yeah, she sucked. She sucked. And I think subconsciously, look, what she's doing in a weird way is she's saying, hey, just so you know, black people get killed for fucking with white people in this country. I'm going to call the cops on you now. You should get the fuck out of my face. She's using racism as sort of a weapon. I don't think her end result was to try to get this guy shot. I don't think that was it. But
it was. It was.
She was trying to get the guy shot?
Yes, that is.
She said he was trying to kill her.
That is a rich, malicious piece of shit white lady.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's a piece of shit.
Would not lose a wink of sleep if the police showed up and assaulted that guy.
I think what she was trying to do is I think she was trying to get him away from her. Because I think when when I hear the cops are coming, I just fucking book in the opposite direction. I'm like,
and she would not. And if the cops had showed up and he stood there and they fucking assaulted that guy, she would be vindicated. That is exactly what she fucking wanted.
Maybe. Sure. Maybe she did. Fine. Right.
You're not. Here's the thing. You'll never be happened. You'll never be in her head.
No, of course.
But
that's not what happened.
Here's also what's true is if that had just been a normal fucking person that had their dog off the leash, and then this guy just started filming them, and was like, you got to put your dog on the leash, and then for whatever reason it blew up on social media and that woman got fired, that guy wouldn't fucking care. He would not give a shit if he just fucking destroyed someone's life over being a stickler over dog walking rules.
Being a snitch, being a bird snitch.
Being a bird snitch in an empty fucking park. Why are you watching birds? Go home. Put your fucking ass back on and go home. Look at the birds on the internet.
It's a do-rag, Nick.
Right. Get your do-rag. Get your blood bandana around your mouth and go home.
There's at least an argument for like the dog needs fucking exercise, you know?
Yeah.
The dog does need to be walked.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that angle though. Everyone involved in the story is just a bunch of fucking, the whole thing. To be honest with you, if you care about that entire story, how is it national news? I don't even know. I see certain comics, they're just like they live in this thing. They're like living.
It's also absurd because you have the backdrop of the fucking shit in Minneapolis going on right now, and that should contextualize it as like,
yes,
this is the bullshit version of like how to care about these social issues, and here's like the actual consequences of it. So you can dabble in this like easy fucking aesthetic gimme by getting this fucking woman fired, or you can like look at the actual, and then people get into the thing, well, you can be mad about two things at once, and I'm sure a lot of people are, but it's like it is fucking just
people are just looking to be mad about whatever they're looking to be mad about every single day, and they'll find those stories. If you're looking in the right place, you'll find every story, and you can spend your entire fucking regardless. I think that that whole thing that's happening in Minneapolis, we're talking about it on Skanks this week. I want to find the angle in which the cops are right. Can you guys give me help here?
When I said earlier that you should always try and find a different angle, that's not what
that's what I'm looking for. I feel like
just to clarify, that was
even talk about. I mean, boo hoo, the cops are evil. Fine, everyone has that angle, but is there an angle I can have where the cops was this guy actually resisting arrest?
No. I mean,
he wasn't, right? Because every video I've seen,
is it's like his blatant cold-blooded murder.
And it's much worse because it's like even the Eric Garner video. It's like
he was sort of resisting.
Well, the Eric Garner video, it's like it does look like kind of like a freak accident. In this video, this guy fucking puts his knee on his
he's handcuffed.
He's handcuffed and he puts his knee on his fucking carotid artery and leaves it there until he's unconscious, and then keeps his knee there for an additional 3 to 5 minutes.
And then gets up afterwards.
And people are
fucking crazy.
He's not resisting.
Sickening.
He's unconscious. There's blood coming out of his nose, and people are like, "You're killing him." There's a guy standing there that's like, he's like, I train adult karate. I'm a loser that takes adult karate, and what you're doing is like fucking cutting off blood flow to his fucking brain. You know that. You know exactly what you're doing. You know you can't fucking continue doing it. And the officer totally knows. He sat there and planned to just sit there and quietly, slowly murder this person in front of a bunch of people. And there is really, if you watch that video and you can still make fucking exceptions for the police in your head, I mean, it's like, you're fucking retarded. You're a fucking retarded.
I always look for like, all right, what happened before the video camera started rolling? And then
they have that tape.
But I'm saying, hold on, Nick. I saw the tape before, and he's like walking in handcuffs, and he trips and falls, and then they all just get on top of him. Maybe I'm missing something here, but here's my problem, right?
They don't get all on top of him. It's one fucking cop.
Well, there's three at first that are on top of like holding him down, and then there's one guy standing above him.
That is like cutting off the blood flow to his fucking head, while his dipshit fucking partner stands there trying to make sure that nobody gets off the sidewalk or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't. You can't fucking assume what's going on in the head of the other cop standing there trying to just keep people at bay. But he does not look comfortable, and it's like, I don't know if he knows what's going on is fucking wrong and he won't do anything or what. But I mean, whatever. It's like, I don't even know really where to go other than, and this is why I'm saying it's like it is important to find a different angle with these things.
Well,
it's not funny to just be like, yeah, this is fucked up. You know, there's no comedic value to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the other thing is like when I talk about these things, you know, I think it's almost like you look at like Kumia or some of these other guys, and it's like I watch them on social media, and now they're just talking about the riots and the amount of people that are being killed afterwards. And I'm like, in order for me to take your opinion really seriously on this issue, you have to at the very least go, that's really fucked up. You have to point at that and go, that shouldn't have happened. You can't just always sort of be on one side of it, right? So it's like, you know, it's fucking hard to watch, dude. It's a really, really hard to watch video.
Tough to watch.
Yeah, and the Eric Garner thing, like, you know, you watch that video, he was, you know, at the time I even said he was resisting arrest, and I've been arrested a dozen times, dude. If cops have you fucking caught, just give up, put your hands up, figure it out in court. If you give these fucking cops, you're going to get, whatever the ratio, let's say 10% of cops are fucking real malicious dickheads are going to be violent, right? Because I don't think it's the majority of them. I think it's a minority of them. You're going to cross one of them, and they're going to punch you in the fucking mouth. They're going to put their fucking elbow into your throat. They're going to hurt you, and don't give them that opportunity. And it sucks. I'm not saying it's right.
1 second. I'll be right.
Yeah, man, we need to fucking, I'm not a political comic. I see this happening a lot too. So comics, especially a lot of my black comic friends, they're like, yeah, if you're not talking about this, you're part of the fucking problem. And I'm going, it's like, I don't know. I'm not a political guy. I'm not a social, justice guy. So for me, just to out of nowhere start talking about one issue on social media when I don't talk about any of these issues on social media, I get caught up once in a while, but it's things that are very personally affecting me. So, you know, peaceful parenting stuff like that. But I've been arrested. I'm on the other side of the law. I'm a Puerto Rican guy who's been arrested a dozen times. I've never, you know, don't get it skewed. I'm just saying you need to fucking, I don't know, the whole, that scenario is just kind of fucked up and sad, and watching that happen, you know, sucks. And yeah, there probably isn't much funny about it. I don't know. Damn, Nick. Damn, how are you so fucking jacked right now? It's making me furious.
I think if we look through the guy's tweets, we might be able to find something that justifies his murder. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, is that we could go and find something he did or said on Facebook that was inappropriate.
Maybe. What was his crime? He was trying to pass.
I don't even know, dude. I don't even know.
They were responding to a forgery in progress. What the fuck does that even?
Yeah, what does that even mean?
He was just making his own. He was handing out fucking autographed pictures of Bill Murray outside of a fucking bar.
Yeah, forgery in progress. He was selling Skankfest tickets.
Yeah.
Well, if that was the case, I'm not saying it was justified, but
yeah. Well, there you go. You were looking for the.
Yeah, but yeah, I want to see the coronavirus numbers after these protests. We'll see.
We'll see. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean that is something to like. I mean, it is just fucking obnoxious, but yeah, it's like the liberals will never say that because they would say it about any other fucking issue.
Any other.
And this is what's so fucking annoying because they are. You can. I mean, you're being a piece of shit to do it, but there is a way to conflate the two issues and, like, you know, make a point, a valid point.
Well, is it stay inside or not?
Exactly. Because the virus isn't going to be like, oh, well, we're not going to infect people for a while because this is about justice. It's like that's not the way fucking things.
So exactly, white liberal people will go like, oh, the people in Florida, how dare they go on the beach and try to get some sun, but they won't say anything about people going out and in massive numbers, rioting, protesting, being really violent. You know, that's the side of it that it's like. It is kind of interesting to watch. You just watch like liberals, like their heads are going to explode. They don't know what to do.
No, they won't. Because it'll present itself as some fucking cognitive dissonance to where they won't. They're like, oh, no, you're just concern trolling or whatever. They won't even fucking do the math in their head that yes, it has nothing. And because the point I'm making isn't that they shouldn't be protesting. They should absolutely be fucking protesting. They should be rioting. They should go fucking kill that cop. You know, I mean, haha, just kidding.
Knock, knock, who's there? The guy that's going to kill that cop. Just joking.
Trump signed the order. We're all good.
But I mean, it's like, but also too, at the same time, if you're convinced that this kind of fucking gathering is going to cause an issue with the virus, you should be also publicly hemming and hawing about like, oh well, now they're going to kill a bunch of people. They can't take a back seat and protest otherwise because it's going to kill a bunch of people. But I mean, and of course, nobody wants to, the right does the same fucking thing in terms of like not acknowledging when their point is fucking hypocritical. But it's like, yeah, it's absolutely across the fucking board. If you want to say that nobody should be fucking demonstrating at all, and you want to like disparage all these people just because they have stupid bumper stickers on their pickup trucks and they lost their fucking jobs and they're going to the State House saying like, we want our fucking jobs back, you should be doing it now in this situation as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. Yeah, it's also a very privileged type of person that tells everyone to stay home. It's just like, if you can do that, that's great. If you have the ability to just simply stay home and it's not going to destroy your family and it's not going to destroy your, you're not going to have to fucking give up your home for it, that's great. But I think a lot of other people are looking for some sort of solutions, and a way to actually get back out there and make some cash. Yeah. It's a crazy fucking world, dude. I feel like we just need another celebrity compilation right now. If we can get another...
I think I think that like the looting and the rioting gets worse. There's 30 million people that have been unemployed for the last 3 months. The police are way too militarized. This is going to be a death loop that feeds each other until society starts to unravel.
Yeah, I think you're not completely wrong about there's being a correlation between the boredom and the fucking, right now those people that are looting are having the best time they've had in months.
Well, here's the reality. Those people got no money and they are out of work and they're unemployed. They need things and they're going to go out and take them. It's like,
even barring the police brutality.
Yeah, forget that. Yeah.
You should be looting Target.
Yeah. Looting's appropriate no matter what. I mean, the government put you out of work, gave you $1,200 if you even got it, then told you to fuck off. It's like looting is going to be a real common word used in the next year.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Is all of these fucking like the people on the right, furious about Target losing 5 pairs of Hanes underwear, livid about it, about the injustice of the fucking looting. Would absolutely not give a shit if people were fucking taking those things because they lost their work and they needed
100%
needed fucking like new mud flaps for their truck. They wouldn't care.
Right.
And they won't. When it gets to that point, they fucking.
Yeah, I just think that people, I think it's counterproductive to loot. It's counterproductive to burn your city. It's counterproductive to fucking hurt your own people. You got fucking.
That's not your own people. It's fucking Target and AutoZone.
But no.
It's your own people. It is bullshit criticism of the fucking.
Who's getting killed? Do you think it's the executives from Target and AutoZone that are the ones that are killed? There's 7 or 8 people that have died in these riots so far. It's all young black people that are getting fucking shot to death. It is a negative. It is a counterproductive.
Listen, killing people is not smart.
Okay, well then how does it fucking end then? Because it doesn't.
I think that there's
but it's not going to end by killing people. I don't have any problem with looting.
I just don't agree with fucking looting and burning down a city because some shit. Yeah, it's really. I'm saying it's an injustice. That guy was.
Well, just one of the ways, Louis, to get
that cop should be fucking put in jail. I think he should be arrested.
One of the ways to get people to pay attention, right? Destroying property is one of the ways to get people to pay attention. I'm against killing innocent people. Obviously, everybody is. That's stupid. That's counterproductive. But burning down a store that's a corporate major, like. That's one of the only times people will fucking listen.
It's not like a planned demolition where they go, okay, well, let's burn down the store and we're going to get people to listen and it's not that. What it is in the process of hurting a lot of people and destroying a lot of property and mom and pop shops and personal property, cars, homes. A 5-year-old girl was shot. I mean, come on. Yes, fine. They burned down a fucking Target in the process. Okay,
wait a minute. A 5-year-old girl was shot in the rioting?
I believe so, yeah.
How?
Fucking, I don't know, weak chest muscles.
No, I'm just wondering how that even happened. Listen, that's tragic and horrible. but like, you know, there were people walking around with AK-47s because the beaches weren't open and their jobs weren't open. I mean, it's like they were
people were people. I'm just saying
they were screaming in the faces of police with guns. If they had been black, it would have been a very different scenario. If a group of armed black people had gone into the fucking
that happens all the time. There are groups of armed black there weren't
because there were groups of armed black people, and then that's when they made fucking guns illegal.
Right.
That's why we made guns illegal, is because black people started demonstrating with firearms, and they're like,
there's a bunch of pro gun black groups right now that exist, that do marches, that are straight up fucking militant looking and are super intimidating looking, that exists, and they're not being shot by police every single day. It's not, you know, I don't think that that's just a completely fair comparison. I think that, yeah, dude, there's systematic issues, right? You know, I grew up in fucking poverty, and I have to fight my fucking instincts to be a criminal every single day of my life. It's not fair. It is what it is.
Right.
But I don't.
So what do you think? Let's put it to you this way: if this happens, somebody gets murdered like this, the cops. What do they do? What does a community do when they don't have any money and they don't have the wherewithal? Like, I think
peaceful protesting, in my opinion, is the best way to get shit done.
Has any peaceful I mean, like, I know that it's worked or whatever, but like, so what kind of peaceful protest do you imagine?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have the answer either, but do you think it's killing people and destroying?
I never said it's killing people, but when people loot stores and commit acts of quote unquote, whatever, like destruction of property, I think that's when rich people start to care. They don't care.
I think rich people think that those people. I think rich people think that those people are acting like animals and that they should be put down. I don't think rich people are going, you know what? Yes. We've been looking at this all wrong. No. They're going. No. Those are fucking escaped zoo animals, and they need to be shot. Why are we using rubber bullets? Let's use real bullets. That's what they're saying.
When the police kill somebody like that, that's the system operating the way it was designed to work. And part of that system accounts for quote unquote peaceful protesting. That's where you're allowed to do it. But there's been plenty of peaceful protesting. We're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. There's all this shit going on. Police officers need to be on their P's and fucking Q's. If you're gonna on video murder somebody, there's no way that fucking cop doesn't know what the exact consequences are gonna be of a like a serious instance of police. And
was this guy like this guy forgery in progress? This wasn't a murderer. He didn't assault somebody.
Right,
he didn't do anything.
But I don't think this is why I don't think the cop was trying to murder this guy on camera. The cop knew he was being videotaped. Here's what I think the cop
whether he's trying to murder the guy or not. He
wasn't trying to murder him. He was being a piece of shit. He was being a fucking piece of shit. I don't think that his intent was, let me kill this guy right now. He's on camera.
Doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter.
Hold on. Let me say this.
This guy's fucking neck until he goes unconscious. That was clearly his intent, and he did it, and he kept his fucking leg there. I mean, it's like
but you did say that before, which is the intent to murder this guy. So I don't think that the intent was to actually murder this guy.
I mean, he knew exactly.
I think this cop should be literally in prison. I'm saying this cop should be
if my intention is to run you over with my fucking car and you die, you're not going to say, oh, I didn't mean to kill him. That's not how fucking like involuntary manslaughter works. If you intend to do fucking,
I didn't say involuntary manslaughter either. I'm just saying I don't think that
his intention was to fucking murder the guy. I mean, it's like
I don't think this is the first time that this cop has put his knee on the back of a
absolutely not. There were complaints about that fucking cop before.
But here's the point, Nick. He's never murdered somebody before. So the point I'm making is, through the 20 years on the force of him putting his knee on the back of people's necks, he's just been a piece of shit. So I think that was sort of the intent. Now, I do think he should be put on trial. I do think he should go to jail. I think and you're right, dude. If this guy got fucking murdered and dragged out of his cop car, I wouldn't lose any fucking sleep over it. But let's get real. I don't think that the cop was just trying to kill this guy on camera and saying, fuck it, look at this, everyone. That's sort of a crazy...
But that's a distinction that's meaningless and it doesn't matter, right? Yeah.
It does matter. Technically, I mean, in court it will matter. It does matter. I think it
doesn't, Louis, because I'll tell you this. There's no part of the system that functions where somebody goes, hey, fuck you. The whole thing is they can do this and get away with it with impunity That's the problem.
And I don't think he will, though.
And
I think he will. I think he will go to jail.
If the system is so fucking fundamentally flawed that this guy can murder somebody with impunity on video, because it is murder. We're not talking about intention anymore. Forget intention. That was an act of, he murdered the guy. That he murdered.
Yeah.
So
I think the cop should be suspended.
If you could do that
suspended for 2 months.
Exactly, and then everyone knows that's how it is, and that's how the system's set up to work.
Without pay, though. 2 months with no pay.
Well, come on, Tim.
And the system deserves to break, and that means breaking at a fundamental level where every piece of the infrastructure breaks down. Now the city can't do fucking business. It's not going to be able to collect taxes.
I think we need a concert. We need a concert.
We need Gal Gadot to
We need to highlight this with song and suspend him for 2 months without pay, and he should be able to go on a show and cry and talk about things that happened to him that were sad.
He will. The cop will go to jail. The cop will undoubtedly go to jail. This couldn't be any more. I've never seen anything more clear.
Will you cancel his Gas Digital subscription? Because we know he's a member.
I'm going to give him a show. What are you talking about? If he can record from his cell somehow, we're going to get fucking the I Can't Breathe hour with Officer.
Dude, it's a perfect Gas Digital show to have a cop who's murdered a black guy and then also a black racist on together. That's it's Godfrey and this cop. It's Godfrey and this cop.
Oh shit. Yeah, dude. I think the cop will go to jail, rightfully so. I just don't. I'm not of the thought, whatever. I just think of it as a father, right? That's not how I would tell my son to go and handle anything he disagrees with. It's not how I would handle anything I disagree with. I wouldn't throw...
I tell you what. Here's what needs to happen is places like fucking Target need to be burned to the ground. Places like Walmart need to be burned to the ground because it's not going to be peaceful protests as it changes this. It's going to be the weight of giant fucking institutions stepping on the neck of the city and saying, make sure this doesn't fucking happen again. We've invested billions of dollars into your city with these businesses. Make sure this doesn't happen again. Rein in your fucking officers so this doesn't happen again. It's absolutely necessary.
I don't think that my problem is I think that you are looking at it wrong. I don't think they're going to go rein in your officers. I think they're going to go make sure that these people don't do this again. And I think that has a worse effect. I think that what's happening out there, it's not like the city of Minneapolis is going, you know what, this really made us think. They are fucking out there fighting.
Of course they're not.
It's a war. It's a war in the streets right now. I mean, it's just like
it's not going to do that. But if it's like the only way change happens is from the top down. The only fucking thing you have as a resource at a certain point is to have the system break.
Listen, that cop should apologize and get a chance to be forgiven by Obama.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Obama and Gal Gadot need to do a duet.
What if that guy in Obama had a butter burger, one of those famous, Midwestern, and they went to a bar and they hashed it out, and Obama was like, he's a good guy, he's not a bad guy. And the cop says, I didn't mean it, and then that's what we need.
Trump should give posthumously George Floyd all of Chris Kyle's medals.
Yes,
and I think that'll resolve.
Yes, give him the Congressional Medal of Honor. I agree with you, Lewis. I don't like targets being burned. I think it would be a much better idea if we just let this cop sit down and apologize to Oprah and have her hug him, and they should cry together.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. If a San Francisco police officer had done this to somebody and then protesters immediately went to Google's headquarters and burned the fucking building down, I guarantee you Google's response would be leaning on the city to
Google's responsible for probably 10% of the... It
shouldn't have to happen for you to burn Google's headquarters down.
It shouldn't have that, but I'm telling you, it's like if you talk about rich people start to care, it's those are the kind of rich people you want to care.
Yeah, rich people don't care about peaceful protests, Lewis. You just change the channel. They have to feel unsafe.
Minneapolis needs to feel like, oh, no one's going to do fucking business in our city anymore. Now we've destroyed our ability to collect revenue. We can never attract new. There's never going to be any new fucking headquarters.
If you think that they're going to be rioting in a week, they won't be, and nothing is going to change. Hopefully the city learns you're talking about to happen. Not taking it very seriously how they train their officers and who they have on the force. For what you're talking about to happen, the citizens of Minneapolis would have to declare war on corporations, the police. It would have to be a fucking united front.
No, they have to do what they already are doing, which is looting.
Okay, well, when does that happen, Nick? We've seen people loot and destroy things before, and it's never completely changed the infrastructure, and we still have police brutality. We still have people getting killed every single day. So when has that happened before? When can you look at a time in which burning down stores and trying to strong-arm a city and the strong-arm their police force has made any sort of change? I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to find an example of where this happened, where there was a case of recent police brutality where they burned down the cities and changed things. But if you look at the Watts riots, which were way more violent, there was absolutely an effort to reform police departments after that. The answer wasn't like, we're just going to beat up black people more than that. It started a serious fucking conversation about police brutality in America. It started and it's still a contentious issue, and a lot of people want to fucking argue with it. But you could even say that OJ probably fucking got away with it, specifically because of those riots. So I know he's your hero.
OJ should go to Minnesota and sit down with this cop and forgive him. What if OJ forgave this cop?
OJ and Gal Gadot should do a duet. How good that one would that be?
I mean, this is a fitting way to end our last podcast. Is Lewis just defending the Minneapolis?
I'm not defending anything.
I'm kidding with you. I'm joking.
I think that
Lewis, your point isn't completely wrong, but it's wrong enough.
Yeah,
that's where you are usually.
It's that, I mean, the flip side of that is like, to what extent have peaceful protests done anything?
Right, but I don't think peaceful. I think there's a new form of peaceful protest, which is, and we've been talking about it the whole show, cancel culture, the internet, having a voice. There's a way to do things, and people are getting shit done. Whereas that side of it does fucking suck. I do think that you do more with collectively organizing ideas with smart people that aren't trying to be violent, that aren't trying to hurt and trying to do counterproductive things, than you do with being extremely violent and going to the other extreme. Because I think you have people, even somebody like me, I agree. I think this cop's a piece of shit and I think he should go to jail. But then you have these massive protests, and it's like, I don't know, I wouldn't send my kid out and to be a part of that. I'm like, no, stay home. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get killed by one of them or by the cops or whoever. That's, in my opinion, I think it's a counterproductive way to handle things. So that's all I'll say.
What needs to happen is this, is now fucking never again in a situation like that where there's a video, or, I mean, there should be, it's a shame that it had to get to the point where there's video, because we tried body cams and that didn't work.
Well, it's crazy. What you're about to say, I agree with, but it's
fucking
crazy.
Accountability is that that cop should have been instantly, it's not fired, it's not suspended,
arrested.
Instantly fucking charged arrested and fucking charged immediately, and that would have prevented the fucking riots. It would have probably, I mean, then you can talk about
what about this? Can I have just
there
as a
has
solution?
to be what's that?
What about any time somebody is killed by a cop in the line of duty, no matter what, that cop is arrested, booked, processed, and they put him on some sort of whether it's an official trial or some sort of review, and it comes at it from the perspective of you're being prosecuted for this, and they're looking at for what you could have been done wrong. And then
because nobody trusts the internal system of the police. You need it to be in the courts. You cannot give the cops one kind of internal justice. And if you or me had done that, we would be in a court system. So a cop needs to be in the court system.
But I find make it in the court system. Yeah. If somebody's killed by a cop, that cop has to go through the trial process. He's taken a man's life, whether they're paid to and given a badge, which is just a fucking piece of metal that's molded in a certain way, and it's not real. Being a cop doesn't make you any more human than not being a cop, right? So if that was the case, if every single time a cop was put in cuffs, he killed somebody, he's put in cuffs, they put him in a cell, he has to go through that process. Number one, before they pull that trigger every single time, they're going to think like, fuck, I don't want to have to go through this. They're going to scrutinize me every single time. And it might just give people a little bit of pause, and it might make them consider their actions before they go through with something that's deadly.
Well, that's exactly the fucking point, and that's why there's protests, because people are now at this point trained to just expect that this guy was just going to be able to murder this person with impunity. I mean, that is what you expect.
How many people are protesting the murder?
Can I just say
people
at
are
this
just
point,
fucking taking
Can
advantage?
I just say at this point that the
Who
cops?
gives a shit?
Yeah.
That's the kind of bullshit that, like, they fucking did this all throughout Occupy. Is that it's like, whoa, you know, how many people just want to smoke weed and fucking hang out in the park? It's like,
but if
who
my
gives a
kid is
shit?
fucking killed by a brick to the head by some motherfucker that's just trying to get a TV,
That's not the
I don't know.
point.
He sort of died in vain. He
That's
didn't
not
really
the
die
point.
for a
Okay,
cause.
but that's a separate issue. It has nothing to do with these. You can't look at a thing where it's like, yeah, but what about the people that are doing something different at the same time? And it's like,
What's so hard about this? What's so hard about this is that the cops are heroes, but the people who work at Target are also heroes.
Yeah,
That's why it's hard to come down on either side, because
You're right.
the Target workers are heroes and the police are heroes. So how we figure it out becomes difficult.
Yeah. Look, there's no solution. We don't know. There's no answer on one.
Well, the
side or
solution is
other.
what you just said. You just said a solution.
cops are charged immediately.
Yeah, that's the solution.
Immediately.
Okay, so you agree with my solution?
I was saying the exact same thing.
Yeah,
and
but
then
I
you
want a
said-
panini press too.
Yeah. That's the other thing too. Is separate
Who
from
gives
that,
a shit?
I disagree
want
with.
one.
I disagree with your assertion that it's wrong to fucking shoplift from Target right now.
Yeah, fuck.
No,
Target,
by the way,
dude.
I shoplift from Target currently. I'm
Yeah,
saying
Lewis,
it's wrong
you
to
were
put
a thief. Like, Lewis, you take things and you're shitting on looters because you take things quietly by yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you're gonna steal, do it quietly, peacefully steal. This is what I do. I don't fucking hit a security guard on the head with a fucking billy club first.
Yeah.
Well, he's not letting you fucking get Dracula on 4K Blu-ray. I mean, fucking, you
Fuck
chose
him.
to die for that shit.
He chose to die.
I'm trying to watch Keanu do a British accent.
Yeah.
Man.
It is what it
We're gonna
is.
wrap up here in just a couple minutes. This has been the fun.
Bastard Radio. We did it. We got you through the quarantine. Now go back to work.
Go back.
to work. We did it. It's over. The quarantine's over. Go out and protest.
It's not
do
over
whatever
in New
you
York,
gotta
but
do.
no one cares about New York anymore. Nobody cares about Andrew Cuomo, the Meatball King. You've let the whole city be taken
Dude,
over
he
by
fucking-
Italians. No one cares.
He sucks. He
sucks.
fucking sucks. I'm so glad people got over him. Whatever delusion was happening. Can you imagine his little nighttime calls with Chrissy,
Ugh.
where they're wearing their matching pajamas?
Chris Cuomo, who clearly did not have coronavirus, who pretended to have coronavirus.
Just
He
he's
was
like, I don't tell mom, but I think I'm gonna be president. I think they're gonna make me president over this. Don't say anything. I'm gonna.
Chris Cuomo's like, I had coronavirus, but I beat it by stretching. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you're either lying or this is fake, but something's wrong.
Yeah.
Here's what we can do. Here's the idea, and this is a really good idea. And you guys have been shooting down my ideas for the past month or the past 2 months. Every time I come up with one,
What was your great idea? Is we should have sold this podcast for $1.
Yeah.
You had an idea once where you said we should have done Bastard Radio, sold it for $1, and then hacked up $70K. That was a good idea. I don't know what happened to that.
So listen, we can start
What happened to the deal you were working on? I mean, I guess
Yeah,
the podcast is over, but
the
Where's
podcast is
all the
over.
money?
So now there's no deal anymore.
Did OnlyFans come back? Did they counter you with a good number?
Well, they, I might be working with OnlyFans still, but Bastard Radio is not.
you cut us
No.
out of it. You cut us out of the deal.
You cut us out.
No, Tim cut us out of the deal. OnlyFans wanted to pay us to do the fucking show and do some exclusive content, and the number that Tim came back with was so high that they literally laughed at me. They laughed.
You told me it was the number you came up with.
No, I said the number that Tim came up with.
You got to give yourself a value, Lewis. Why are we going to all do an extra podcast a week for $10K a month? It's like retarded.
Tim
Give
said
us real
150K.
fucking
It was
money,
150K a month. He's talking about like
Joe
Rogan
Rogan
numbers.
just got $100 million. I mean, it's like, give me real fucking
You're
money.
not wrong. By the way, Tim, you're not wrong. And the
Right.
reality is the reason you're successful, the reason we're all successful is because you have to be willing to walk away. Me and Nick were willing to do it for way less. And it probably was a bad deal.
What I said is, you guys figure it out. I don't give a shit.
That is true.
Just tell me when to show up, and if there's a check, we'll cash it.
No, Nick actually had the most realistic perspective. He was like, dude, we're doing this for free. So whatever. If there's a check, there's a check. If there's not, there's not. No, yeah. I mean, yeah, the show's over.
If they don't want to pay real money, then fuck them. Keep having people jerk off on your
hold on.
platform.
If OnlyFans came back with the deal that you wanted, you'd still do the show? Because we can get the people to talk to if the fans tweet at OnlyFans and let them know that.
And here's the reality: OnlyFans is getting into podcasting about 7 years too late. I apologize. Have people jerking off on their stomachs or have fat woman playing with their ass. Whatever it is, stay there. Do that.
Well,
I'm going to Spotify.
Are you trying to?
For money, I will. They're not going to give me no money.
Yeah. And you got to figure you are worth at least 1/200th of what Joe Rogan's worth, and you would take that deal.
I told Joe as soon as he got the deal, I said, to be honest with you, I think I'm entitled to a little bit.
Yeah.
I texted him and I said, I'll have a lawyer contact you.
But who's the deal from? He already has a show.
Spotify's licensing his show.
Oh, really?
So Spotify's paying $100 million exclusive. You won't be able to get it anywhere.
By the way, it's more than 100.
It's more.
Yeah.
It's you won't be able to get it anywhere but Spotify come 2021. So the video version, the audio version, and I'm assuming if you're on non-Spotify Premium, you'll have their pre-recorded ads. So you'll have like a Geico commercial before the podcast starts or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or breaks in between, like however their advertising
That's
works.
Insane. Do you remember Joe Rogan's podcast 10 years ago? What it was?
No, I don't. He was sitting in his room, right? Yeah. I don't remember it, but.
Well, the format was like him and like Ari Shaffir just like hanging out, being like, I tried a new type of weed. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
It's like Red Band, fucking Fleshlight.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Was that?
It's crazy.
Sorry, you keep cutting out.
Oh, I apologize. No, I was making.
Fleshlight was the sponsor in the beginning. Fleshlight.
They were their first sponsor. Yeah, good for Joe, man. He really is. Paving the fucking way, dude. I mean, like that type of money. Even now, like if you watch regular television, you can't go 10 minutes without you hear like, oh well, yeah, go to NBC.com and download our latest podcast. And it's like even fucking TV and radio and all these other mediums, they are taking notice how strong podcasting has become.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm downloading Weibo whenever I can get that shit to work. It won't let me make an account, but. I'm going China. I'm going Chinese social media, and I'm gonna figure out what the Chinese thing is. Dude. I'm gonna figure it out in fucking 5 years when, every comic that I've had 4 conversations with, they get my number from somebody, and they're like, "How do you speak Chinese?"
Yeah.
Tell me how this whole Chinese people thing works.
Yeah. I'm with it. I support you in that. Well, listen, gents, we've had a good run. I'm hoping can I come to New York? Can I fly to New York? Is it allowed? What am I allowed to do?
They never shut down flights. The flights have been fucking going.
They never shut down the subways, Nick.
Nothing was shut down, dude. The whole idea that we've been quarantined is a lie. I'm
not coming. I'm still not going to go to New York. I think you two gentlemen should come here. It's much nicer here.
I'm coming, Nick. Or Tim. I'm coming to California. I'm doing that Phoenix gig on the 25th. Of June, which I'll be at. Please come out.
Yeah, I'm unavailable. Whatever time you're coming, I'm not here. But the point is, no, I'm kidding. Come, dude, come. And
I'm coming the week after with my son. We're gonna hang out. I want to fucking eat some good food, barbecue. Let's go to Michelle's
let's do it. 100%.
Is Gay Lagetza open?
No, I don't think so. But Gay Lagetza is the best Mexican in LA.
It's the
best. They do have takeout. I think Gay Lagetza, I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping Gay Lagetza has takeout.
Yeah.
I love you guys. Hopefully we'll do another one of these very soon. When we're
love you guys too. You're the best.
Sure we'll do it.
The show's over. It's never mind. Hopefully we'll do it again.
It's over.
Hopefully we'll do it again. Hey, I'm hoping we do it again soon.
Yeah.
And by the way, Tim's message was, can I read us? Can we end it with your text?
Read it. Yeah. It's a rational text.
Galen, you read it, Nick, because I don't have my phone on me.
Should I get into beekeeping?
Yes.
Should I just fucking move out to West Virginia and have bees?
Where would we move if we started a new New York for comedy? What city would it be? Because we need 20 comics, 20 good comics. We could start a brand new city.
Easton, PA, Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, it's like Austin and all those cities are too expensive already.
Yeah, let's go. We'll move to Easton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jim Thorpe, PA is where we're going.
Yeah.
Tim said, "Hey, love you both, but today will be the last podcast for me. We're all going back out on the road. Quarantine is ending, at least out here. No more Zoom, no more bars, no more life in a cage."
Yes, that's it. That was Sean Penn's line from the end of Dead Man Walking. But that's the way I feel. Am I wrong? I feel that by July stand-up's back. People are going to be doing podcasts in person. Like,
I think maybe you have now, it's finally gotten to you, and you now have the delusion that we were all like openly ridiculing like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Because eventually everybody breaks. You know, they're like, look at all these people that think this is going to end.
Yeah. Well,
it's going to end.
I believe it's got to end. Bobby Kelly is doing like a club in Tampa or whatever, like this weekend.
Yeah, I'm doing a club in Phoenix, but it's still only 30% capacity.
I know, but it's like I think all of the Zooms have to stop.
Yeah,
like
I agree with you on that.
That's what it means. We need we're getting to the final stage of acceptance where it's like we've been angry or in denial or whatever.
Yes.
So now the podcasts need to end. We need to just get our little collection of bees and start making honey. You figure something else out. No longer will feel obligated to have to comment on every dumb thing that fucking happens and have to have a fucking opinion about it. You can just make bees and speak Chinese.
But just before the end of the world happens, I want to perform for 35 people at the House of Comedy in Phoenix one more time.
I'm gonna just be doing folk comedy shows around the Appalachian Mountains.
That might be the future. You're sticking it out in New York. You're not gonna leave.
There's nowhere to go.
I think I'm moving to Westchester.
Good point.
I think I'm moving up to Westchester near Bobby.
That's nice.
I convinced my son's mother that it's just time to go. This whole thing made it very obvious. It's like
time to go. You're getting older.
If this happens again, dude, fucking 4 or 5 months of not being able to really. No,
dude, you got to get away, dude. It's not fun anymore. When you're 22 and you're doing all the shows and mics and you're in New York City, 25, I was 30, whatever. It's not even about age. It's about how long you've been doing it. It's fun in the beginning, and then after a while, you're like, yeah, I just did this. I can't do the same thing.
Well, I want to buy somewhat soon. Like, I'm not completely ready yet, but definitely in the next couple of years, I want to buy a home. I'm going to fucking buy an apartment. I'm going to buy walls that somebody else owns the other side of the wall. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy an apartment. If I could I might get a house in Flushing. That might be the move for me.
Yeah. We'll see. I want a backyard. I want a garage. I want to build a podcast studio and a fucking little den.
Dude, here's
the other thing I think.
Do that in Queens.
I considered Queens as well. But the problem with Queens is it's still the city. It's still hard to find a house. You can find apartments. It's different. You can find it.
There's good shit. There's good houses in Queens.
You got to be deep.
No.
To the point where you don't get any public transportation, so the benefit of living in Queens is sort of lost.
You can live in Flushing. You can find a nice house in Flushing, backyard.
Yeah, but you want to get out of the city. If you get out of the city, get out of the city. Go. Yeah. I would say go further than where Bobby lived. Like go to where Virgin and Giannis are.
I still want to be able to get down to the city, do spots. I'm not fucking.
There's not going to be any club. Do spots where? There's no clubs. It's all over.
Yeah.
This is the spot. You just did it.
We just did a spot. Hey guys, thanks for coming to a comedy show. By the way,
dude,
people would charge for this and call it a comedy show.
Dude, the reality is you're not going to want to go and do a spot for $25 and drive an hour. Once you leave New York City, you're going to go
the road. Then I'm a road dog. That's
right.
It.
But I mean, whatever it is, dude, the spots is ending for all of us anyway, as it should. Like we're not going to be at 1 a.m. like being like, let me do.
We could go to another city though. We could go to Houston, right? Let's say we all move to Houston because Austin's too fucking expensive. You pick a city like Houston, which is like still a little ghetto, still coming up, right? But still fucking cool. And we can fucking open 2 or 3 comedy clubs pretty fucking easily. 20 of us move down there. 20 of us. All it takes is 20 of us. Okay. Then all of a sudden another 5 guys move in every month, another 10 guys. Within 3 or 4 years, we've built the new New York, new LA. There's 10 comedy clubs. There's spots. We got it.
It sounds very rational. Let me know.
Yeah.
When you go down there,
everyone just got to make a decision. It's not that crazy. If everyone just said, cool, Houston, let's make a fucking decision.
I'll tell you why it is crazy. Here's the only reason why it's crazy. The comedy community isn't the goal. That's why. Like
working is the goal nightly. So instead of traveling, going to Tim, you're going to know this when you have a kid one day or you have a family, or you don't want to fucking get on the road. A lot of great comics don't want to fucking have to go on the road every night. So New York is great. LA is great because you can get up 2 or 3 times a night. Yeah. Even in LA, if you're a good comic, you get up 2 or 3 times a night and you can work new shit out regularly. You need that. Doing it on the road. By the way, I like working material on the road in an hour way more than I like doing 10, 15-minute spots.
There's a lot of great comics that do that, and there's a lot of great comics who get up every now and then, but will go out and do long sets and build their material there, or they have like a nightly room where they go once a week club and they just work new shit.
The most I progressed in comedy was when I was on the road. I was doing 2 weekends a month, and I fucking almost never went on stage like when I was home.
Yeah, dude.
The problem with those guys, you're not going to develop anybody because the guys who can go on the road that can draw are far and few between. And
I agree with you. In general, I agree with you, but I have no interest in developing anybody.
Yeah,
that they're going to develop or not. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but if comedy falls apart in general, then you don't have. So we all have a vested interest.
Comedy's not going to fall apart. Listen, those people are going to figure out ways to get up. There's going to be things for them to do. It's not going to fall apart. I just mean things are changing. Social media, the deals that comedy clubs are giving people are absurd. You're selling $1,200, 1,200 tickets. You're grossing $20,000. You're getting a guarantee of $2,500 and then a nightly bonus of $500. It's
crazy.
That's absurd. Yeah. That should go away.
You want to know the next iteration, Tim? You want to know some crazy shit? Because this is what Skankfest is doing. We're looking at jurisdictions in which we can get a temporary liquor license, so we could take not only the ticket sales but the ball.
Yeah.
We take.
I thought you were going to be like, you know what Skankfest is doing for comics? Stock options. You're being paid in stock options. So,
but I'm just saying, if you want to fucking go on the road, let's say you set up a tour. Let's say you set up a 12-city tour, but in each city you get a temporary beer and liquor license, and you work with a distributor
by the way,
there.
Talking to Nick about, Nick was the one who made me see how fucked all of us, like the whole system was fucked. Because Nick and those guys, they do a tour, they like put it together themselves, and they walk away with money.
Right, I know.
Our tour.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have a producer, but I mean, like we pay the producer, but I mean, it's the amount of money. The first time I started doing door deals, it's like if you have the draw, I mean, because I was like, I spent 10 years as like a feature, and the pay sucks, and you barely make money.
It's like it's on a good night, it's $100 a show. Most of the time, it's between $50 and $75 a show. You're doing 5-6 shows a weekend, so a weekend you'll make $300-400 on average.
Featuring, you make about $700, and then you got to get yourself to the club, and then you got to put yourself up. Usually, that's what feature pay was when I was a feature. And I remember I would like get into it with fucking managers at clubs. I'm like, I don't get it. It's like the tickets cost $20 a piece. It's like, I mean, the math doesn't really add up. It's like is your rent fucking out of control? Is like, I'm like, what is it? Why is it that the comedians have not only don't get paid anything, but the pay has gone down since the early 90s.
And it's because the next guy's willing to do it for cheaper, and that's on us.
It's because there's no protection for the labor whatsoever. And so, it's like I remember like realizing when I was like 22 that I make less than because I would always make a point of like graciously tipping the wait staff in the fucking green room because I'm like, these guys aren't making the kind of money I am. And then you realize it's like they're probably
making more.
They're making more money.
Those hot waitresses are making substantially more money than you.
Way more money than you. And fucking and anyways, but like so I was always mad about the fucking industry and like the money or whatever, but I was livid when I finally had a fucking draw and I realized how much money you could actually make. The first time I did like fucking like a regular weekend and walking in and the initial offer is $10,000 for the full weekend, and it's like well, if they're offering me this, like what are they bringing in? And then I go out and do a one-nighter myself and I walk away with fucking $8,000 and it's like, this is insane. Well,
can I tell you what it is? We in our foundation, these formative years of being a comic, we get beaten down so much and we do it for free. We love it. So we spend the first 2 or 3 years in these like the infant stages doing it for free. And we're like, we're just, so then you go to this next level where you're like, I got to pay $20. And I remember the first time you get that $20, it seems like the biggest fucking deal. And you're so appreciative and you're like, wow. I remember thinking when I first started, I was like, if I can make as much money as a teacher makes, like $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year, I remember being like, that's fucking cool. Like,
that was the goal. Cause when I started,
that was the goal.
And when I started, there was still that kind of that world of like, middle class comedian, a guy without any credits that just works all the fucking clubs. And there was a lot of those guys. You go to any fucking comedy club, the wall was filled with like
those guys.
Brad Staffmuller, you know, a fucking headshot from 1987, and then like you'd see a much leathery version of that guy stroll into the club, and people are like, Brad, you know, he lives in like
Brad kills.
He like lives in Texarkana. He can do 4.5 hours of murder, and he's had like 5 liver transplants.
He knows every local reference to a T.
And then they're the coolest guys. They fucking, you know, they're super nice to you for like doing a guest spot or whatever.
They're banned from the other club across town because they fucked a waitress.
Yeah, and that's what comedy used to be. It was fucking, you know, it was great. But yeah, there was no fucking money in it. Those guys, they would make 40, 50 grand a year and they have no health insurance.
But that was awesome. When I first started, 40, 50 grand a year was like, that was the absolute dream. It was so crazy. And everything just sort of gets pushed back and it's never good enough. And it's like
I remember my agent said to me, she goes, this was before she got released. She said to me, she goes, yeah, this is the year we prove you can sell tickets. So none of the deals are different. I'm like, wait, what? She goes, well, you're building equity as a comic. And I'm like, what are you saying? Like your words
don't make any sense. That's like a bullshit made up thing that they say to try to fuck you.
Yeah, she goes, you're building equity and you're building a brand. I'm like, you're saying nonsense words. Like if I'm going to sell tickets, I need to earn money now. Not I prove it and then next year I earn money. I mean, it's like insane.
Yeah. Building equity. You're literally doing the opposite of that.
Right.
There's a bunch of clubs where like the deal is like the first weekend you come out, it's like, well, they give you half what they would normally give you the first weekend you come out. But then as long as you do well the next weekend, it's like, how does that make sense at all? How is my agent setting this up? How are you not protecting me from this?
Yeah. You know what you should do?
They work for the clubs as well as you. When I realized that, I was like, oh, okay. They're not working for you. They're working for them, and they're dealing with you and the club.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Anyway, I want to go have nachos.
Go. Yeah, I'm gonna eat a burger.
We all deserve it.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this show, making it the biggest.
We did it.
It was big. We
3 episodes of Bastard Radio.
And by the way, if you want the rest of Bastard Radio, because we've recorded 100 episodes, it's on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
If you go to OnlyFans.com/Bastard Radio.
We've done 100 quarantine episodes. They're all on OnlyFans.
Lewis negotiated a $15 million deal.
Yeah. Lewis negotiated an OnlyFans deal. None of us have heard anything about it.
Right, yeah. He's so excited. He was going to, right before you texted him, he was like, I don't know how to break the news to these guys. $15. Because it would really change my life, but I don't want to have to share it. And then you're like, I'm quitting. And he's like, no problem at all. See ya.
Don't worry about it.
But me and Nick's response, Nick was like, cool, I'm out too. I was like, no problem, baby boy.
Lewis is like, you've got all that OnlyFans cash.
Yeah.
Not that, baby.
I got all that OnlyFans.
Forgetting that this podcast even exists until it's like, you guys ready to go in an hour? I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah. I mean,
we were doing it for the right reason. We were doing it for the fucking joy of doing it, baby boy. And then money got thrown into the mix, and that's when everything went south.
Yeah.
No, everything went south when we realized we're gonna have to leave our houses at a certain point.
Yeah.
That's when
everything went south when you realized that you were going to leave your house. Nick was going to come back in 2 weweeks.
Yeah, but I was like, I got to leave my home and go to Arizona. I got to do what I was doing 4 months ago. There's
Tim,
no
why don't
vaccine.
you come and hang out? Tim, why don't you come and do a guest set on mine and Metzger's weekend? I'll try to get an extra night and we'll give you some cash. Or I'll try to get an extra show that night.
Let me know. Whatever that is, let me know. I'll do it.
Where is that?
Phoenix.
Arizona.
Stand Up Live, August 25th, Thursday night.
Can I do a guest spot?
100%.
All right. What August what?
August 25th, Thursday night, Phoenix, Arizona. If you'll definitely do the show. I won't even guess, but I'll hit the club up. We'll try to just get an extra show that night. If they say no, we'll do another show at another venue. That's crazy.
I gotta check my schedule, make sure I'm in town. But if I'm in town, I'll go.
That'd be awesome, dude. Fuck it. I just want to get out there. I don't give a shit.
I gotta get out there too, dude. That's what, all this Zoom shit. I'm like, it's time to get back to life.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, look, guys, you guys are the fucking best. Two of the most talented people I know. Tim's already pressing his button. I want to compliment you. Thank you.
No, give us a graduation speech first. I apologize.
Fat finger.
Tell us how talented you are. I apologize.
Go support everyone's podcast. Come Town, the Tim Dillon Show, obviously Legion of Skanks and Real Life
Buy the
Podcast. Believe
shirts.
you me. Buy the shirts.
Buy the shirts.
Come.town. Buy the shirts.
We're going to be out in a town near you soon enough. Thank you for listening. This has been it. What a history.
Thank you. Go to
Bastard Radio.
onlyfans.com/bastard radio. Get the first 7 episodes free.